this video, I'll give you a quick overview of how to use standard recipes in the Zenon service engine. In the service engine, Zenon ensures intelligent recipe management as well as reliable and flexible operation, allowing you to modify and adjust parameters quickly and easily when, for example, changing over to a different product, which saves you a lot of time. Before you can use your recipes in the service engine, you need to create either a special recipe screen or a function. To create a recipe screen, select the Screens module in the project tree. In the Screens detail view, click the New Screen button on the far left of the toolbar. In the Screen Creation dialog, enter a name and link the screen to the main frame. As screen type, choose Standard Recipes. Next, click on the three dots and select a standard template. The Standard Recipe screen is opened in the editor window. To load the recipe screen in the service engine, you also need to create a screen switch function where you select your recipe and that you then link to a button in the menu. In order for the recipe to be available in the service engine, you must change the runtime changeable data settings. Go to the properties of your project. Under General, go to Service Engine Changeable Data, select the three dots and clear the Standard Recipes checkbox. Be sure to change this setting again after compiling the service engine files. In the service engine, the newly created recipe screen is opened when we click the button. It offers different control elements for recipe navigation and the editing of the recipe value set points. Here you have an overview of the variables and the values. You can change the values here or by selecting this button. Other control elements allow you to edit, copy, or delete the recipe. You can also add variables to the recipe as well as write the values of the selected recipe to the PLC using the Write Recipe button, or have the current values from the PLC be read into the recipe with the Read Recipe button. The recipe can be saved with the Save Changes button. Before we execute the recipe in the service engine, let's go back to our Hall screen. Here, click Yes. As you can see, both inflow and outflow are closed. Navigate to the recipe screen again and execute the recipe by selecting Write Recipe. Back in the Hall screen, you can see that the recipe has been executed successfully. The inflow is opened and the outflow is closed, just as we defined it in the recipe. You can also execute a recipe by using a function. I'll walk you through the steps. Switch to the Engineering Studio and create a new function. In the dialog, expand the Recipes module and select Standard Recipe. In the next dialog, you can select the recipe and the action that you want to be executed. Write Set Values writes the values of the recipe to the PLC. Read Values reads the values from the PLC and stores them in the recipe, changing the recipe. For our example, we select the Write Set Values setting. Also select this checkbox so that this dialog can also be opened in the service engine before execution of the selected action. Be sure to rename the function in the detail view. We also need a new button for our function. This time we'll create it in the status bar and name it Execute Recipe. We'll add a label Standard Recipes. Now all we need to do is link the function to the button and we're ready to try it out in the service engine. In the service engine, we're again in the Hall screen with both inflow and outflow closed. Select the Execute Recipe button. In the dialog, select Write Set Values to execute the recipe. Here it is already selected because we did so earlier in the Engineering Studio. As the recipe is being executed, you can see that the inflow is now opened and the outflow closed, just as we defined it in the recipe. More information on this topic can be found in the Zenon help under Manual, Standard Recipes, Operation in the Service Engine. Thanks for watching.